this lecture of therapeutic exercise, we are going to study the contractures and their types. So, contracture. Okay. So, contracture is basically if we say that the restricted motion can range from mild muscle shortening to irreversible contractures. Basically, contracture is the adaptive shortening of the muscle tendon units or soft tissues around the joint that surrounds the joint that results in contracture. Basically, due to that, there is a sufficient loss or there is a limitation of ROMs basically, and due to that we compromise the functional abilities. Basically, if we apply any stretch, passive or active, it limits the motion due to resistance and their resistance is provided by a contracture. Basically, this is contracture. If we, in a single words, if we say that contracture, first we are going to write that. Okay, contracture, so the adaptive shortening of a muscle tendon unit. Basically, muscle tendon units are tendons and etc., capsules, etc., and other soft tissues. Surrounds a joint. That surrounds a joint. So, because of that, we say that we got resistance to passive or active stretch because of that. So, in a simple way, we say that the adaptive shortening of muscle tendon unit and other soft tissues that surrounds the joint is basically the contractures. Okay, then we say that the contracture, as basically the contractures is defined in different ways in different definitions or different researches says that some says the contracture is almost complete loss of motion, whereas whereas the term shortness is basically loss of partial motion, we cannot say the complete loss of motion, and this is like that. And if we say that the tightness, what is tightness? So this is called, some says the restricted motion due to adaptive shortening of soft tissues is tightness, but some different resources have different terms, different use of. So that for example, if we say that how, so this is a shoulder joint and this is elbow, and this is like we are explaining the contractures in due to locations and etc. So in this we say that they don't extend the elbow due to flexion contracture. Basically, we say that the flexion contracture is like that person's elbow is flexed or elbow flexion contracture because a person cannot extend their elbow. So because of that the contracture is present, so we name them the elbow flexor contracture. Basically, this is simply example for contractures, and this is like that. So now another term that is confused with that is a contraction. But basically, contraction is the process of tension developing in a muscle during shortening or lengthening. This is not synonyms of contracture, because if we say that contracture is adaptive shortening of muscle, but contraction is the normal process in the muscle for for performing any movement in shortening or lengthening. This is simply a process of tension developing in a muscle to perform normal movements and to perform normal function. So We cannot say the contracture and contractions are the same terms and we use interchangeably with each other. We cannot use. So if we say the contraction is like that, we contract our finger is like that, this is a normal contraction. This is not a contracture, because contracture is a person cannot move his finger back towards after extension. So this is like that. So then we are going to study the types of the contracture, and the types, first one is a myostatic contracture. Myostatic contracture. Basically, myostatic or myogenic contracture is the muscular-tendinous unit have adaptively shortened. Due to that, there are significant loss of arms. Muscular-tendinous unit adaptively shortened. So due to that, significant loss of ROMs, but there is no any specific pathology, muscle pathology is present. So we cannot say that this is occurred due to any pathology. So there is no specific muscle pathology. In a simple way, we say that there is a reduction, no specific muscle pathology. In a simple way, we say that there is a reduction in the number of sarcomeres units in a series. That normally we say that number of sarcomere is reduce or decrease. So basically, for example, if I can say that there is a reduction in the number of sarcomeres in series is like that, we know that the muscle pathology and etc. So there is a sarcomere is the unit of the skeletal muscle. So sarcomere is basic unit that we know A band, I band, actin, myosin are present in them. So if there is decrease in the number of sarcomeres, so we say that myostatic contracture is present in there. But there is no decrease in the individual length of the sarcomere, because sarcomere is the unit present between the two Z lines, so we cannot say that. So this can be resolved easily because in short time with stretching exercises. So resolve in short time with stretching exercises. This is basically the myostatic contracture. Next, we are going to study the pseudomyostatic contracture. Pseudomyostatic contracture. Myostatic contracture. Basically, in this there is mobility is impaired, ROM is limited, but there is a pathology is present, that is hypertonicity. Due to hypertonicity, we say that with not only the hypertonicity, but with the central nervous system lesions are involved. So basically, if we say that the impaired mobility and limited ROM is result of hypertonicity. That includes spasticity and rigidity. Basically, spasticity and rigidity, the tone of the muscle increase due to any lesions. Mostly upper motor neurons lesions occur in them, and they increase the muscles tones. So due to that, the muscles can be but this involves the central nervous system lesions, that the upper motor neuron lesions. So in this we say that due to any cerebral vascular accident, spinal cord injury, traumatic brain injury, these are all included in the pseudomyostatic contracture. So associated with central nervous system, basically spasticity and rigidity as the upper motor neuron lesions, like that. So that's we say that they are associated with central nervous system lesions. Then we are saying that they can caused by spasm or gardening and pain. These are the maybe caused by spasm, gardening or pain, because a person cannot move their maybe for example, if we say that there is a finger the person cannot move due to their pain, so the pseudomyostatic is going to be present there. Maybe we cannot say that this is or due to any spasm or due to muscle gardening, the person cannot move their part of the body, etc., or their joint, so the pseudomyostatic contracture is present in them. So after that we say that this can be resolved due by neuromuscular inhibition. Basically, neuromuscular inhibition, we say that if inhibition procedures to reduce muscle tension temporarily are applied, full passive elongation of the apparently shortened muscle is then possible. Basically, if we say that inhibition that is temporary for any muscle tension, to reduce muscle tension. Basically, temporary we reduce the muscle tension through inhibition, and then we perform passive elongation of muscle or passive stretching to lengthen the shortened muscle. So that is possible in that situation. So pseudomyostatic we can resolve through neuromuscular inhibition, because they can give a excessive resistance to passive stretch. So we can apply the inhibition procedure, and then we can do. So next is orthogenic and periarticular contracture. Periarticular contractures. So orthogenic contracture is result of intra-articular pathology. Basically we say that any pathology in the articular areas, articular spaces, or basically articular spaces, not articular bones or articular surfaces of the two bones, like that. Intra-articular pathology. So these changes basically include adhesion, synovial proliferation, joint effusion, irregularities in articular cartilage, or osteophyte formation. So we can write that these changes include first of all adhesions. Adhesions, for example, we say that there is a two bones, this is example of spine bones, then between there is intervertebral disc. If we say that the bones are combined with each other and their size decreases in number, they combine like that, they combine with each other, and they press the intervertebral disc, so they basically this is called the adhesions. Then the synovial proliferation means their synovium increases in number due to their proliferation or due to their process of forming new synovial cells or etc. So basically like that we say that the synovial proliferation. So this is the adhesion or synovial proliferation. Next is the joint effusion. Joint effusion. So joint effusion is basically the accumulation of fluid in the areas around the joint or in the area where is pathologies occur, intra-articular pathologies occur. There is the effusion or accumulation of fluid due to any changes in intra-articular spaces in intra-articular area or joint around the joint. So this is joint effusion. Next is irregularities in articular cartilage. First we write them. Irregularities. Okay. Irregularities. Oh, sorry. Articular cartilage irregularities. This includes, basically we say that in arthritis the degeneration of this cartilage. Then is osteophyte formation. Basically osteophyte, we say that there is a bony outgrowth. For example, if we say that the two bones are rubbing with each other, we can draw that. Then I can explain you. So there is the two bones, their surfaces are rubbing with each other. Due to their rubbing, the bone is protruding outward is like that, and bony outgrowth is formed, and this is basically we say that extra bony formation of extra bony outgrowth or growth of bone. This is called osteophyte formation. So this is for orthogenic. And periarticular contracture is basically the area that the connective tissue that surrounds the muscles like the joint capsule, etc. They lose their mobility and restrict the normal orthokinematic motion. They both restricts the orthokinematic motion or ROMs of the motion, ROMs of the joint. So this is like that. Periarticulars means the connective tissue around the joint. They also involve. So when they involve, they call the contracture is called periarticular contracture. This is like that. Then we say that orthogenic and periarticular both have both limits the normal ROM. So then we are going to study. Then we are going to go on the next type, that is fibrotic contracture and irreversible contracture. Fibrotic contracture and irreversible. Basically, the fibrous changes in the connective tissue of muscle in fibrotic contracture, there is a fibrous changes in the connective tissue of the muscles and periarticular structures that causes basically the adherence of the tissues that are around the joint or around basically the muscles and the connective tissues around the joint, that develops the fibrotic contractures. So basically fibrotic contracture is non-extensible. The muscles that are non-extensibles, that have fibrotic adhesions, or that have basically the scar formation or even the heterotopic bone, they cannot be intervented or they cannot be treated through non-surgical processes. So we need for these we need the surgical processes. So non-extensibles are the joints that their extensibility totally we lose the extensibility of the muscles. And in fibrotic adhesions, there are adhesions that are in fibrous tissues that causes the adhesion of each other. And the third one is the scar tissue. So scar adhesions, fibrotic adhesions, and then the scar tissue. Scar tissue is the development of the extra area around the skin after the injury or after traumatic injury, after any trauma, etc. And then heterotopic bone is basically the bone that has so therapeutic bone is basically the bone formation where it is not normally found. They basically in muscles we say that this is a muscle, and in between any bone formation is occur. So this is the abnormal bone or bony outgrowth in the muscle that is called heterotopic bone. So this is due to that these reasons we cannot perform the stretching exercises and stretching interventions or non-surgical interventions. We need the surgical intervention for these because because we cannot reverse the fibrotic contracture through stretching exercises. So we perform the surgical interventions for these because they are totally irreversible. So this is all about the contractures and their types. Thanks for watching. If you like it, like, share and subscribe the channel. Thank you.